You've got a lot of nerve taking a day off for a stupid funeral. You're fired!
My name is Shinichi Matsumoto. I've just been fired by my manager. I'd like to explain all the events that led to this happening. I'm 43 years old and due to certain circumstances, I've recently changed jobs. The company I've started working for is a really great place. I don't have to work overtime as much and I can get paid my holidays without any problems. It's got plenty of benefits, including insurance, and the salary is really great. Thanks to that, the quality of my personal life has increased too. All my colleagues and subordinates are really good people that excel at their jobs, so the human relations have been great, but
as of today, I'll be working here as the new section chief. My name is Harada. I don't plan to make things easy for you, so be prepared to work hard.
About 6 months after I started working at this company, I got a new section chief. He was in his 50s and he was already exhibiting how controlling and power-hungry he was. He really was a pain in the butt, but the only way to show how insufferable he was is to give an example of his behavior. One day, it was time to leave the office, and I was starting to pack my things away. Of course, I had already finished all my work, but...
What are you doing? Can't you see that everyone else is still working?
I've already cleared up all my work, and nobody asked me to help for their work, so I'm going home.
What? So you're telling me that you don't have any initiative? You need someone here to tell you to do something. How are you even still here? Or what, are you so useless that nobody wants to ask you for help? It's better for everyone if you leave early?
Our company has a rule that limits the amount of overtime work we can do. I just happened to get ready to leave a little earlier than everyone else, and the other employees would be packing their stuff away soon too. Even Harada could understand that, but he still didn't stop shouting his abuse, and because of his comments, it became harder for the other employees to leave the office too. On another day, when I went to deliver some documents that would be used at a business meeting...
What the hell is up with this research? It's unreadable! Even a monkey could make something better than this! How useless can you get?
Then I'll tell Hayashi to clean it up a little before the deadline.
What? Why should he have to clean it up for you? Do it yourself!
Hayashi is the one who made that document. Hayashi is a young employee, but she's doing a great job. She's a favorite of the section chief, so she gets special treatment.
Why didn't you tell me that sooner? On a closer look, it doesn't seem that bad at all, and it doesn't need changing at all.
Understood. Unsurprisingly, Harada put more focus on who made the documents and whether he likes them over the actual contents for the work. On yet another day, there was a phone call for the section chief in the morning. Apparently someone had caught a bad cold and had asked to take the day off. Up until now, it was normal for us to be able to take as much time off as necessary as long as we brought in a doctor's note. However...
How dare you try to take the day off for a cold? You're an adult! You come to work no matter what it takes! What? You have a fever? Why should I care? Get your ass to work!
An hour later, the employee that was asked to take the day off appeared in the office, shuffling unsteadily to his desk. We were all shocked that he actually showed up, but the section chief was really pleased with himself. Everyone in the office went to the section chief to convince him to let the guy go home, and I escorted him when we finally got Harada to give up. As you can see, Harada really was the stereotypical dictator type of manager that we all thought that he would be. If anything, his values were even more outdated than I imagined. The atmosphere in the office had become heavy, and I even felt our work efficiency was declining too. Worst of all, the section chief himself didn't even realize that anything was wrong. But this was only the beginning. The worst was still yet to come. One day when I was home alone on my day off, I got a message from the section chief.
Hey, come to the office right now!
But today's a Saturday.
You think I don't know that? We've had some problems with a client and we need help dealing with the problem. I heard that you live closest to the office, so I need you here now!
I'm really sorry, sir, but I can't come into the office on my days off.
Why the hell not? It's not like you have a wife or anything, you're divorced!
I've got plans to visit someone today.
I don't care, you can see them another day! Cancel your plans and come straight to the office! That's an order!
I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Hey, are you gonna disobey me?
I'll explain on Monday, but I really can't go today. I'm sorry. He ordered me to come into the office with no care for my private life. Not only that, he made it sound like I didn't have the right to say no to his requests. Alright, I've got everything packed, so I better head out. I've got to visit someone important today. They're the reason why I can't work on my days off. You might be wondering, what could be more important than helping out with crisis at work? Well, hey, I brought you the comic that you were talking about last week.
Thanks, Dad.
The person I've come to see is my 12-year-old daughter, Aya. She's been in the hospital for the past few years, and it looks like it's gonna stay that way for a while. She's been really sick. The doctors have tried all sorts of treatments, but none of them have shown any signs of improving her condition. She doesn't have long to live. I changed jobs so I could spend more time with Aya. Whatever time is left to us, I want to spend it together. In the next few weeks, I plan on taking a long holiday from work so I can be by her side, so she won't be alone at the end. Just thinking about how little time Aya has left in this world is unbearable, but I don't want my feelings to make her suffer. I want her to enjoy the time that she has left to her fullest. I've been doing my best to be as cheerful as possible, and I've spent as much time as I can with her so that she doesn't feel lonely. As for her mother Michiko, I don't know where she is or what she's doing. She's disappeared. Not long after we found out about Aya's illness. I don't think a month had passed, but when I returned home one day... Hey, what's going on? Everything in the house is gone, and I found the divorce papers that you left on the living room table? I don't understand. You've got to talk to me.
There's nothing more to talk about. I want to get divorced.
Are you being serious? Aya's sick and you want a divorce?
It's not like she'll get better if I stay with you both.
That's not the problem. She needs us.
I've had enough of this boring life as a wife and mother. I've got to take this chance. Please don't get in my way. I don't want to waste the rest of my life just because Aya's dying.
Do you understand what you're saying?
I want to fulfill my dreams, that's all.
I've had enough. You really have changed. Do whatever you want and don't ever come back.
Of course, that's what I plan to do.
It's pretty unbelievable, but this really is Aya's biological mother. To be honest, I had a feeling that it would turn out like this. In the beginning, she was happy to be a mother and was a loving wife, but around the time that Aya became a 4th grader, she began to change. She got involved in this suspicious multi-level marketing business and got addicted to it. She started going out every day to attend business seminars and events, and she was hardly at home. Not only that, but because I entrusted her with handling all of my salary, she began to use it to fund her business activities. We had argued about that on several occasions, and our relationship had hit rock bottom. Soon after, she lost interest in our daughter, and they haven't been speaking much in the years leading up to Aya's admittance to the hospital. She never said it, but both Aya and I could tell that she felt that we were dragging her down. When we found out about Aya's illness, Michiko couldn't have cared any less. At that point, I realized that she was beyond redeeming if she didn't even care if Aya was dying. After she left us, I heard that she tried to ask her parents for help, but of course they couldn't forgive her for being so heartless either. I found out later that Michiko had been disowned by her furious parents. She hadn't contacted me ever since we got the divorce over and done with, but I can't help but hope that she's suffering for what she's done. So that's why I always spend my days off from work visiting Aya and appreciating every second that I have with her. She never even talks about Michiko, but I know that she must feel lonely without her mom, and I feel terrible that there's nothing that I can do for her.
Oh yeah, Grandma and Grandpa came to visit me yesterday.
I bet that you got them to give you pocket money again, huh?
How did you know?
Aya may look really energetic and happy today, but that's not always the case. There are times when she spends an entire day sleeping, and there are some days when she feels so unwell that she can't even eat or drink anything. It makes me wonder how many more chances I'll get to talk to her about nothing and hear her laugh. When we're talking, I desperately try to hold back my tears, but we still have time. If I wait just a little longer, I can take some time off of work and be with her every single day. That's what I thought. But the day after I visited Aya, her condition took a turn for the worse. When I got to the hospital in the early hours of the morning, her breathing was so weak that it felt like it could stop at any second. Aya, I'm here, it's Dad! Her eyes opened so slowly and so heavily, but she looked right at me. I could tell that she didn't have the strength to speak, but she looked at me straight in the eyes and smiled faintly. Aya! She took her last breath and went peacefully to sleep. It was all so sudden I didn't know what to do. I could only stare at her peaceful face. I couldn't even cry, it was so hard to process. I felt empty and void of any emotion. I began to think about all the things that had to be done, like the funeral preparations and letting our grandparents know. I realized that I had to call the office as well. It was probably already time for everyone to be gathering at work. Thankfully, the guy that picked up the phone was Watanabe, a guy I get along well with at work. He told me that the section chief was out for a business meeting. I told him that I would call the office again when the chief was back, but he must have realized something was off because he sounded really solemn when he asked, "Did something happen to your daughter?" The second he asked that, I had no choice but to accept the reality of what happened. This morning, she... Finally, I felt a flood of sadness, and I couldn't stop the tears that I'd been holding in for so long. I didn't finish what I had said and could only cry. But Watanabe didn't need me to explain any further, and said,
Don't worry about the section chief, I'll let him know. You just focus on saying goodbye to Aya.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize for anything.
After giving his condolences, he told me to make sure that I eat properly and hung up the phone. After that, I was busy preparing for Aya's funeral, but once it was over, there was nothing else to do. I couldn't work up the will to go to work. I thought about asking for some time off of work after my bereavement leave when I got a message from Watanabe.
Hey, how you doing? Are you sleeping properly?
Watanabe, thanks for coming to the funeral. Yeah, I guess. Not a lot, but enough. I'm actually thinking about taking some more time off of work. Is the section chief in office?
Don't worry about that. If you want time off work, take it. I'll talk to the section chief for you. You just rest.
I can't make you do all that for me.
What are you talking about? You should be thinking about yourself right now, not really making Harada happy.
Watanabe really is a great guy. He'd visited Aya in the past and even took the time to come by the funeral and say goodbye to her. I remember him saying once that he understood exactly how I felt because he has a daughter of his own. But I knew that Harada must be really upset about me taking time off of work. There was no way that he would give me permission to extend my leave that easily. Watanabe was definitely acting as the barrier between me and the section chief, so that I wouldn't have to worry about anything until I got back to work. I decided to take him up on his offer and left dealing with the section chief to him. A few hours later,
I won! I got you permission to extend your leave. Take a good long rest, man.
I got some good news from Watanabe, and didn't do anything for 3 days. I spent all my time just lying in bed and walking around the house thinking about Aya, but I knew that I couldn't shut myself in forever. I knew that Aya would be upset with me if I didn't try to get on with my life. I did my best to encourage myself, and bit by bit I regained my strength and the will to keep on going. Just when I'd gotten back on my feet, I was contacted by the last person I'd expected, my ex-wife.
I heard that you had the funeral for Aya last week.
Yes?
Why didn't you tell me? I'm her mother. I had a right to attend.
You don't have the right to call yourself that.
You're right. I'm sorry. But I've been regretting it a lot since then.
Oh, you have?
Can I at least visit, so that I can say goodbye? That's all I want. I just want a chance to see her room and everything. Let's talk after that.
No thanks. If you have the time to do that, then why didn't you focus on finding a job and paying back your debt?
Why do you know about my debt?
Apparently your dad looked into it and let me know what you were up to.
Then this makes things much easier. You've got to help me, Shinchichi. Please. Can you help me get in touch with my dad?
So you didn't get in touch with me for Aya's sake, huh? It was all just for your financial problems. If you dare turn up in my house, I will call the police on you.
You're wrong. I really do want to say goodbye to Aya. I just thought that you could help me too.
I don't want to let you into my house when I know that you don't really care. I don't want Aya to see what you've become. And I don't even want to look at you. Don't contact me ever again. The truth is, I was wondering whether it'd be best to let Michiko attend the wedding or not. Even if she did act heartlessly in the past, I thought that she would begin to redirect what she had done after Aya had passed away. However, Michiko's dad, Toru Horikawa, had warned me that he had been investigating what Michiko had been up to in the last few years. He found out from a private investigator that she had been drowning in debt and was living from paycheck to paycheck. She was still involved with the multi-level marketing and was on the verge of being taken to court for her attempts to scam other people into joining her in making money. There was obviously no way to make her change her ways. Even if Aya was already gone, I don't want someone like that coming any closer to my daughter. And that's why I didn't invite her to the funeral, and decided that I didn't want to have anything to do with her for the rest of my life. However, a few hours after I blocked her on every social networking site that we were connected on, the doorbell rang. I thought it was strange that I couldn't see anyone at my door camera, and I opened the door, only to find Michiko on her knees outside my apartment. She was bowing down so low, I wasn't surprised that she ended up out of frame. I wouldn't have opened the door if I knew it was her. What are you doing here?
I did a terrible thing to both you and Aya, but please, just give me a chance to see her things and say goodbye. Of course. You might not believe me, but I really did love Aya. I've just been so sad ever since she died. Please, just give me this one chance.
I was really stumped and didn't know what to do, but even if I told her that she had to leave, she would probably just stay knelt on the floor until I gave in. After some thought about what the neighbors might think, I finally agreed to let her inside my apartment. Michiko thanked me over and over, looking around the room that Aya used to have as a child. When I saw how much Michiko was crying, I couldn't help but be reminded of our happy time all those years ago, when we were still so happy. However, When you're done saying goodbye, I want you to leave." Even though I had warned her not to linger, she wouldn't leave. I was disappointed. She had put up an act of caring for Aya, but her real motive was the money all along. "I'm not going to help you get back in touch with your parents. Did you forget that they disowned you?"
Please forgive me. I want to get rid of debt. I want us to live together again like we used to. I promise I'll make it up to you.
I wish you would have come back and said that when Aya was still alive. I handed her a small diary that I kept locked away. It was the diary that Aya had been writing in every single day, even though she didn't have any strength to hold the pen. She had been writing things that I had said that day, making a list of things she wanted to do when she got better, and memories she had when we were living with Mijiko, all the things that she missed about her mom.
Is this...
Even after you lost interest in Aya and me, she still loved you, and she missed you, but you never even came back to visit her in the hospital. Not once. You betrayed her over and over again. But take a look at the last few passages. Right before she died, she finally managed to give up on you.
The people I love most in this world. Dad, Grandpa and Grandma. I don't want to leave them behind. I don't want to make them sad.
When she read that page and realized there was nothing written about her, Michiko began to cry real tears.
From now on, I'll deal with my problems by myself. I was wrong to ask you to help me. I'm so sorry I bothered you, Shinji.
With that, she finally left my apartment, walking with unsteady steps. Now I could finally say that everything with Michiko had been sorted out, and I was sure that she wouldn't bother me again. The next day, I made my way to the office for the first time in 2 weeks. I apologized to all my colleagues for causing them so much trouble, but they were also warm and happy to me, and I felt so much better. However, not everyone was so welcoming. I went to the section chief's office to give my thanks, and...
"You've got a lot of nerve taking a day off for a stupid funeral! You're fired!"
It was so ridiculous, I didn't know whether to take him seriously or not, but the way that he spoke about the funeral, it made everything he had ever said to me flash back in my mind, and something inside me just snapped. Did you really mean that? That it's a stupid reason?
Yeah, but I'll rethink fitting you if you get down on your knees and apologize.
Of course I'm not getting down on my damn knees for you, excuse me. I turned around and left his office. I headed to a certain place to meet with a certain person. I didn't want to use this method, but I clearly didn't have any other choice. A few hours later...
CEO? What are you doing here?
Take a seat, Harada.
Matsumoto, what are you doing with the CEO?
I'm telling you to sit down, Harada. Don't make me say it again.
Harada was called to a meeting room that no one else was using, and was shocked to find us there. I'm not surprised, since the CEO obviously isn't the easiest person to get a hold of, and because I was with him too. The truth is, the name of the CEO of the company that I work for is actually Toru Horikawa. He's my ex-father-in-law and is Aya's grandpa. The reason why I managed to get into this company in the first place is all thanks to him. He did it so that I could spend more time with Aya in her final months, knowing that his own company was more lenient when it came to overtime and getting paid holidays. He said that it was the least he could do after his own daughter caused Aya and I so much pain. It's not like it was decided that I would take over his company after him, and I felt like it would be a little awkward if the other employees found out about our connection, so we only told a few of the people that were working in the same office about how we knew each other. Of course, Harada was not one of those people. We sat him down and the CEO and I explained how we knew each other. As we spoke, Harada's face became paler and paler.
I hear that you called my granddaughter's funeral stupid and that you threatened to fire him for attending.
No, I wasn't being serious, I swear.
So you think that it's okay to make a joke like that?
I'm very sorry, sir.
Without missing a beat, Harada got down on his knees and began bowing before the CEO, but in a cold tone, Mr. Horikawa only said,
Even if this hadn't happened, I've been keeping an eye on you. I've heard a lot about the way that you've been treating your subordinates and how tired they are of you. Shinichi, you've brought all this evidence, right?
Yes, sir. I've got recordings, and we even got a few statements from the other employees, too.
I'm planning on holding a meeting with all the board of directors regarding how we should punish you, but don't expect to have a job tomorrow.
Like that, Harada didn't even have the chance to argue back to the CEO and hung his head down in despair. The truth was, Watanabe and Hayashi, and even the employees that had been forced to come with him into work when he was unwell, had been cooperating with me to gather evidence of the harassment that Harada had been making us suffer. Thanks to that, it didn't take long before it was decided by the members of the board that Harada was to lose his job. To think that he would have to find another job at his age, I kinda feel bad for the guy. The CEO apologized to the entire office for allowing a guy like that to be employed as the section chief, but I could imagine that it was difficult for the higher-ups to realize what his true colors were when he was such a butt-kisser. He made a move as soon as I asked him for his help, so I really am grateful to Mr. Horikawa. As for me, I have been able to keep my job, and I've been working hard despite feeling pretty lonely. I haven't been able to completely recover from the shock of losing Aya, but I feel like I have more courage to face the future. Oh yeah, and I'm planning to go and visit Aya's grave next week. I'll be going with Mr. Horikawa and his wife, and with Michiko, who's finally cleared up her act. I don't plan on getting any closer with Michiko ever again, but I'm just glad that I can show Aya the both of us talking together. I think that she'll like that.